Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, occult detectives, romantic witches and a bunch of Stephen King. It's my October TBR. So I have a nice stack of books in front of me today to talk to you about, appropriately spooky season themed as we move into October. So yeah, a few different things. I'm taking part in 2 reading events this month. So the Occult Detective October reading event created by MJ from the channel Reading This Life, which I'm one of the co-hosts of, where we'll be reading occult detective fiction. So I've got a few things for that. Also taking part in the Witches Need Love 2 readathon hosted by Sarah from the channel A Bookish Knitter. So I've got one book for that. And then I've got a couple of Stephen King books for my ongoing Stephen King project, and a few buddy reads as well, and then a couple of other things too. So quite a lot to talk to you about today. So let's crack on, and I will start with the Occult Detective October stuff. So I have put up an announcement video for this with more kind of details and suggestions for things you might want to read. There are 4 weekly prompts for Occult Detective October. The first one is to read a classic occult detective story. And occult detective stories, if you don't know, are kind of what it sounds like. So kind of detective mystery stories, but where the detective is investigating something supernatural. So the first book I'm going to read for that, for week 1, is Carnacki the Ghost Finder by William Hope Hodgson. So a kind of classic occult detective set of short stories. So I've only read one William Hope... So I've only read one William Hope Hodgson book before, which was The House on the Borderland, which I read as a teenager and absolutely loved. So looking forward to reading this. So I've got that one on my Kindle. Week 2 of Occult Detective October is like modern occult detective stuff, which I think we're saying is post 1960. So classic is pre 1960, modern is post 1960. So I'm going with one of the major occult detective series at the moment, the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you pointed out to me that when I did my announcement video for Occult Detective October, I actually held up the second book in the Dresden Files series, which I've now forgotten the name of. Full Moon. So yes, I said I was going to read that and said it was the first, but actually this is the first book. So thanks to everyone who pointed that out. So yeah, a very well known and very well liked series. Never read any of them, so I've got the first couple. So yes, I will be reading the first one of those for the modern week. And then for week 3, which is to read a book read an occult detective book, either by a diverse author or featuring a diverse character. I've got 2 novellas for that. So I've got Agents of Dreamland by Caitlin R. Kiernan, and Hammers on Bone by Cassandra Khaw. So looking forward to both of those. They're from a Tor collection that came out a few years ago, which has got 4 kind of Lovecraftian novellas by diverse authors. I've read 2 of them, and they were both fantastic. So reading the other 2 for Occult Detective October, because they both fit the prompts. And then finally for week 4, which is Anything Goes, I'm going to read this, The Stone of Destiny by Andrew Neil Macleod. So the second in his series of books featuring Dr. Johnson and Samuel Boswell as occult detectives, which is fantastic. I really enjoyed the first one. So yeah, looking forward to diving into this and giving that a go as well. So that's Occult Detective October. I've got a few other things that if I have time I will try and fit into, but at least I've got all the weeks covered off there. Then, so for the Witches Need Love 2 readathon, I'm completely ignoring the prompt. So Sarah, and I'll link to her announcement video in the description for this one, has got a load of different weekly prompts for different kind of witchy type books that you might want to read. I've actually gone with a book that I don't think fits any of the prompts, but it's one she talked about on her channel before, which I just thought sounded really interesting. So it's Saving Marina by Lauri Robinson, which is a category romance set during the Salem witch trials, which just sounds somewhat distasteful, but that appeals to me because that's the kind of person I am. So yeah, looking forward to diving into that. So that's the reading events out of the way. In terms of buddy reads then, so I've got 3 buddy reads this month that I'm doing with patrons of mine. I normally only do 1 a month, but for various reasons I've got 3 this month. So I am reading with my patron Scott, Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy A. Snyder. I actually just read a short story by Lucy A. Snyder, which I really enjoyed. So looking forward to that one. And then with my patron Sammy, reading The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson, which looks very good as well. So a kind of a spooky sort of story, I think. And then with my patron Ellis, I'm reading Lessons in Chemistry by Body Garmus, which looks completely different. So a completely different style of book. I think there's a TV adaptation coming soon to Apple TV, but it looks like a really interesting read about a female chemist in the 1960s, I think, with a bit of kind of romance and stuff like that built into it. So it sounds like a very entertaining read. So looking forward to those. And then a couple more buddy reads. So continuing my buddy read of Patricia Highsmith's novels with Anne from the channel Anne Novella. So this month we're going to be reading A Suspension of Mercy. So I don't have a copy of that yet. It's on order from the library. That's the fantastic thing about Patricia Highsmith. My local libraries have like all of her books. So it's been very easy to get hold of them. So yeah, looking forward to a bit more Highsmith. And then also reading with Anne, The End of Alice by A.M. Holmes. So this was one of the books. I did a short a little while ago of 10 books that I'm kind of intimidated by. And this is one of them. So this is supposed to be incredibly disturbing. It's about, like, I believe about a relationship between a paedophile who's in prison and a young woman on the outside. So yeah, it's supposed to be very troubling and disturbing, but also incredibly well written. So I don't know if looking forward is the right word for that. And lots of people have kind of said how negatively impacting, if you like, this book was. So we'll see what I make of it and whether I manage to finish it or not. We will also be doing a group read. So my patrons and I do a group read every month. We haven't picked October's book yet, so I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll let you know in a weekly wrap up when I get to that. So other things then. So I've got an advanced reader copy. Well, it's not advanced actually because I think the book's out now, but I've got a review copy of Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca, which was sent to me by Titan Books. So looking forward to diving into this. I've enjoyed the Eric LaRocca stuff I've read so far. And then also got a couple of volumes of manga. So these were very kindly sent to me by one of my patrons, Lel, who'd read them and wanted to pass them on to me. So the Hellbound volumes 1 and 2. There's only 2 volumes, I think, to this story. So that's the complete The Hellbound. So looking forward to giving that a try. And then for my Stephen King project, where I'm reading all the Stephen King books I haven't read yet, I've got From a Buick, which is the one that I can't remember if I've read it or not. And it's not, by Stephen King standards, it's not that long. It's only 400 pages. So I'm going to read or reread that one. And then also got a chunkier one, Black House by King and Straub. So this one I definitely haven't read. I reread The Talisman, which is the prequel to this. How long ago? About 3 or 4 years ago, I think. Not long before I started the channel, I reread that and really, really enjoyed it. So looking forward to diving into this and looking forward to reading a big chunky paperback. It's been a while. So apart from my abortive read of Battlefield Earth by L. Ron Hubbard, it's been a while since I've read a really big chunky mass market paperback. So yeah, looking forward to doing that. And then finally, is it finally? It is finally. Finally, I've got this CB Angel by Larry Adcock. So this was sent to me by Roy from the channel Roy Reads Anything. And this is going to be one of those like read it and pass it on type of things that we do on BookTube very so often. So this is a book Roy read during Garb August. He read a couple of CB radio themed books. This was one of them, a kind of American thriller from the 70s. Not as saucy as the cover would suggest, I believe. So yeah, I'm gonna read this and then I'll put a post up on my community tab or mention it in a weekly wrap up or something like that and pass it on to someone else who wants to read it as well. So yeah, looking forward to that too. So that is my October. Lots of spooky stuff to enjoy. So do let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books I talked about. Let me know what you're going to be reading in October and if you're taking part in any of the reading events I mentioned. And as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.